Please be seated. Our opening convocation gives us the opportunity, as the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines it, to gather, to muster, and to assemble every member of this community in this place. We will hear some words of wisdom from the headmaster, listen to our school hymn, and set the tone for the year.
May this convocation be celebratory. May it help us think more about what it means to be a community that serves the greater good. May this day be a reminder of the responsibilities we carry, and may we be true to them.
May we keep a sense of perspective and be understanding and kind to one another if we fall short of accomplishment, especially in these unprecedented times.
May we be inspired, enthusiastic, ready to see new opportunities, perspectives, and act on them for the sake of others. Let us be grateful for the gift of life which is ours. Reverend Hardy, will you now offer invocation?
Thank you, Sophie and Sam. Before we hear from our headmaster, we take a moment to pause, to reflect, to pray, if this is your tradition. We assemble here in this space, some of us returning, having been away from Millbrook for many months, and many of you here virtually in your dorms or at home and out here on the quad are making this place yours for the first time. This assembly, this ecclesia, as it's said in Greek, this convocation, as it's used in a democratic nation, is a ritual that helps us in the process of creating this community as ours. For those returning to Millbrook, being back may give you a deeper appreciation and respect for this place and a deeper connection to each other. There is a spiritual integrity to patterns of life, to rituals. These are the strands of constancy in a world, in an environment, in an ecosystem that by nature changes constantly. And now more than ever, in dramatic, unexpected, and sometimes very troubling ways. This abiding tradition, in its simplicity and purpose, provides comfort, and in its sameness, the opportunity to reflect and to be inspired. Calling upon that power beyond and within ourselves, let us give thanks for this, for the constants, for the reflecting points, the places where we can be still and sure, and for the courage to take the action that this reflection and this stillness informs, even in the face of seemingly untenable challenges. Let us call upon that power, each and every one of us, and move forward together. Amen. Millbrook's sixth headmaster, Mr. Drew Casartano, has served for 1/3 of our 90-year history and just shy of half of his own life. Think about that for a moment, because it's extremely rare. In the realm of headmasters, in the realm of most professions, in the realm of most lifetimes. Mr. Casartano is a rare species. Through his long, remarkable tenure, he has always put the school first and himself second. He spent his entire spring and summer tirelessly strategizing with colleagues and institutional leaders to make sure we could be here today, and here we are. When he first came to Millbrook, we would have been able to fit the entire school socially distanced on this quad. We would not have been flanked by Mills Athletic Center, by Holbrook Arts Center, by Hamilton Math and Science Center, by K Hall. There was no grand dining hall or farm or farmhouse, no solar array or forest canopy walkway, and even the zoo was about half the size of what it is now. But more remarkable than the wonderful expansion of our student body to be who we are now, and faculty, and our facilities, is the steadfast empathy with which Mr. Casertano leads. Beneath his pride and his drive and his focus is a man of heart who is dedicated to the well-being, the thriving of this community. In this, his last year as headmaster of Millbrook School, I invite each and every one of you to take time personally to thank him for all that he has given us over the past 30+ years, and the legacy he will leave for us to continue to thrive. But now, please join me in thanking him collectively as I invite him, our beloved servant leader, Drew Casertano, to share his words of wisdom.
Thank you, old friend. Hard not to hug you after that. My doctor said it was a heart attack. It was August 1975. I was 18 and getting ready to go to college when I experienced serious chest pain which woke me from a deep sleep. When my parents called my pediatrician, he said I had had a heart attack. Fortunately, my cousin, the first in my large extended family to go to college, was a cardiologist, a heart specialist. My parents' next call was to him. And he quickly diagnosed the pain as something called pericarditis, a virus that infects the pericardium, the sac around the heart, filling it with fluid. Next thing I knew, I was in the hospital, hooked up to all sorts of machines which were monitoring my heart. Well, my cousin assured me that I would get better and there would be no lasting effects. The only treatment for this virus was to rest and to wait for it to run its course. I was scared. I spent a week or so in the hospital and several more at home. The date when I was supposed to have my freshman orientation came and went. So did the first day and week of classes, and the second. While I wasn't infectious, I didn't have many visitors, but all my friends had left for college. I'm an only child. It was just my parents and me. I was lonely and worried that I would miss the entire first semester. Finally, my cousin told me that I could go to college 3 weeks after classes had started. He made it clear that my activities would be severely restricted, for the fall at least. Rest continued to be my road to recovery. He said that I could leave my room, which was on the 3rd floor of my dorm, just twice a day. Once for classes and again for dinner. He prescribed 8 hours of sleep, and that I change my eating habits to lose 25 pounds. By Christmas, the virus was mostly gone, and by January, I was able to return to activity bit by bit. Still, that fall was tough for me. At times, I was anxious and uncertain as there was no deadline for my recovery, just the assurance from an expert that it would happen if I took the proper steps. So how did I get through this challenging time? Well, first, I listened to my cousin, the doctor. I did what I was told to do. I stayed in my room, limited my activity, and altered my diet. I trusted my doctor when he said that I would get better, that the virus would run its course. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Perhaps most important, I desperately wanted to be at college. As I said, I'm an only child. I attended boarding school and loved the independence and friendships. I did not want to be at home with my mom and dad for that fall. Plus, they were beginning what turned out to be a difficult divorce. So if being at college required my having to adjust, to make compromises, and to accept restrictions for the fall, well, so be it. The kindness of friends helped immensely. It was a small group from my dorm, and one who was a year ahead of me at Choate and who I followed to Amherst. Still, they made all the difference and remain close friends today. Those friendships are just one of the silver linings. I experienced the first real challenge of my life. Actually, the first two real challenges of my life with the virus and my parents' divorce. And I learned that I could handle it. Running became part of my rehabilitation and helped me develop a lifelong passion for exercise. I learned to eat in healthier ways and went from being a football linebacker to a running back and a baseball catcher to a lacrosse infielder. I share this story as we celebrate our starting the 2020-2021 school year together and in place, because I think it has many parallels to the situation we now face as individuals and a community. The challenges of this fall are real for us all. We are restricted in our movements and the ways we can experience Millbrook. That can be disappointing, and it will be uncomfortable. Still, we are here, together. And we want to stay here, together. That is powerful motivation, and no one feels it more than the sixth form, the class of 2021. So here's my advice. There is a path forward. We need to trust the doctor just as I did. On Sunday, Dr. Salas and Nurse Malara gave us clear directions. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and keep your distance. Yes, 6 feet. I know, it's hard. Do that, and we can make this work. The science is conclusive. There is an end in sight. While we don't have a date in our calendars written in ink when we'll have a reliable, effective vaccine and the all clear will sound, the pandemic will end. To quote the Persian adage made well known by Abraham Lincoln, and this too shall pass. And for those who find comfort and inspiration in a date certain, starting tomorrow, there are 67 days until Thanksgiving break. We need to make this work for just 67 days. There will be silver linings. The brightest of those linings is that we are here in school when so many aren't. The most precious of the silver linings will be what we all will learn from embracing the difficulty, discomfort, and uncertainty of this moment. Of learning to deal with the inevitable challenges that life brings with optimism, empathy, and courage, which actually means managing our anxiety, our fears, and our impulse to judge. Nan Ginger was among the bravest, strongest, and most caring people I've had the privilege of knowing. She suffered from spina bifida and severe debilitating arthritis. She was bound to a wheelchair and had dialysis 3 days a week because of failed kidneys. Nonetheless, Nan was positive, loving, strong, and always looking for ways to help others. She taught me that the only way to learn, grow, and become stronger and wiser is by facing challenges head on and with enthusiasm, even if you have to fake it sometimes. We are in this together. We will benefit from the care and support of friends, advisors, teachers, and our families. And we'll look for ways to return that favor whenever we can. As always, our mission with the values of respect, integrity, stewardship, service, and curiosity will be our foundation, while our motto, non sibi sed cunctus, not for oneself for all, will be our guide. Added to the challenge of creating a community that is safe and healthy physically will be the opportunity to build one that is explicitly anti-racist, inclusive, and just. To fulfill the founder's vision of educating citizens to be productive members of a democratic society. This is our commitment. With much work done with alumni, students, faculty, and staff during the spring and summer, and with much more to be done. That work, that necessary, essential work, can be accomplished far more effectively in a room than on a Zoom. We can do this. As the prefects told you, and as Mrs. Hardy also explained, this is Millbrook's 90th school year. Our school was founded in the fall of 1931, the teeth of the American Depression. The opening was delayed until October 12 because of a flu outbreak. Just 10 years later, the United States entered World War II. The founding headmaster, the heart and soul of the institution, retired in 1965 in the middle of that turbulent decade. And here we are. Resilience is part of who we are. As we continue on this journey together, with the challenges that we are sure to face, let us honor that legacy by mustering some Mustang magic. Let us offer some otter outrageousness. Let us be among the schools that demonstrates that this can work. That will be good, not just for us, but for all. Thank you.
as a way of sending us forth. Let us call upon the light and power within each of us that spurs us to be true to ourselves and true and in service to others and to the world. May that power and light inspire us to look beyond ourselves, to be open to new ways, to new truths, to the mystery of life in all its facets, a power that helps us to persist in completing the tasks at hand to the best of our abilities, a power that helps us to take failure not as a measure of our worth, but as a chance for a new start, a power that informs our respect for the dignity of all life. Let this be a source of strength and wisdom for each and every one of us as we begin this year, a fresh start in a familiar place, an entirely new beginning, or the beginning of an end. Let us give thanks and praise and go forth in peace. Amen. Please stand.
And with that, everyone in the back row is dismissed. Please make sure to take your chair and the flag when you go.